Former GOP presidential candidate, the great Larry Elder. What a pleasure to see you, Larry. Thanks for coming in. I think it's pretty simple, Trump's plan. It boils down to producing more with lower taxes and lower regulations and a lot of very interesting new accounting standards that will help small businesses, and spending less. You got Elon Musk coming in and slashing all of the waste and fraud the way he did with Twitter, where he fired about 80 or 90% of the people who work there and has a company that's working pretty well. So those two things, producing more and spending less by the government, that would bring the deficit down. What do you make of it?
Well, David, what an alien concept, leaving more money in the pockets of people and getting government off their backs. You know, ought to be a pretty simple analysis. We have two administrations back to back we can compare. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? And the fact is, the average family of four is spending $1,200 a month more for the same goods and services as that family bought 4 years ago. They're spending 50% more for gas prices as they spent 4 years ago. So if the issue is the economy, and most polls say that voters are more concerned about the economy than anything else, followed by borders and by illegal immigration, this ought to be a very simple analysis. Most people are worse off unless, of course, you are in fact an illegal alien.
Right. Well, and of course, that's why Kamala Harris doesn't answer that question. She talks about her middle-class background and everything rather than addressing the question whether you're better off. There are some bean counters, I call them, these accountants with the green eye shades, who say that Trump's tax cuts would increase the deficit, but they said the same thing about his 2017 tax cuts, which actually increased revenue. I think we could put up the figures up there. Despite the fact that Biden and Harris are claiming that his tax cuts cost $2 trillion, they actually made $1.5 trillion, as we had a 47% increase in revenue over the first 5 years from 2017 to 2022. So it actually increases economic growth and therefore increases tax revenues as a result of more economic growth as tax rates are reduced.
Once again, the Laffer curve has been vindicated. Art Laffer, the economist, said that you lower taxes, you in fact, over time, increase revenues. And keep in mind, this candidate, Kamala Harris, was perceived to be the most left-wing senator on the Hill in 2019, even more left-wing than Bernie Sanders. So apart from her wanting to raise taxes, raise corporate taxes, she's also proposed a whole bunch of cockamamie stuff like national rent control, like giving illegal aliens taxpayer health care, like giving sex change operations to illegal aliens that are behind bars. She wants a commission to study reparations, and on and on and on.
Right. It's incredible. There is one problem I have with some of the stuff that I've heard with Trump's plans. He does plan to cap credit card interest rates at 10%. Now, that's a kind of a price control. And as we know, price controls always cause shortages, and in this case, it'd be shortage of available credit. The Wall Street Journal wrote about it. I'm going to quote, Mr. Trump has criticized Kamala Harris for proposing price controls on groceries. He's right, yet Mr. Trump is doing the same on credit cards. It's bad enough to have a Democratic Party that ignores economics. What's the point of a Republican Party that follows suit? Do you agree or disagree with that?
I agree. That's a fair criticism. The same kind of criticism I would level against Biden-Harris when they talk about junk fees and eliminating those. But the bigger problem with both these candidates is that neither of them wants to do anything really about the entitlements, the so-called entitlements that really are the driver behind the debt and the deficit. Trump knows it's political poison. Democrats never talk about it. So the big problem and the large amount of money that we spend on these so-called entitlements programs that need to be reformed desperately, nobody's talking about. That's my bigger criticism against both Trump and against Harris.
It's a great point. Well, there's a lot of work to be done. That's clear. Larry Elder, good to see you, my friend. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.